Hello all, welcome back to this session. In the last session, we learned about what iOS applications are and how you can go about check the source code of the iOS applications, etc. In this session, we are going to learn in detail about info.plist file. So in the previous lecture, I told you that info.plist file is one of the most important files in any iOS application. In this session, we are going to learn about this info.plist file in a bit detail. So what exactly is this info.plist file? Info.plist file is the main source of information for iOS applications. Okay, it consists of a key value pair structured essential configuration informations about the application. You can grep it easily since it is of key value pairs. Okay, the key is called as the key and the value we define inside the key by using a syntax called as string. I will be showing you about the same in a couple of minutes. Okay, but just remember that this is a key value pair structure and it describes some of the essential configuration information. Now, here are some of the keywords you can always look out for whenever you are checking the info.plist file. So let's go through them one by one. The first is application permissions or app permissions. App permissions are such as whether the application is using your location, whether the application is using your camera. There might be some dangerous functions as well. So for example, the application is trying to read a file from your iOS device. Okay, so such things you can always check out for. And how will you check out for this? You can always check out usage description keyword inside the find parameter. Okay, so you can simply hit Control F and find for usage description, and you will get a list of all the different application permissions which are being used. Or else if you are someone who loves to work onto Linux onto command line, you can simply just cat the info.plist file, hit the pipe button, say grep and grep for usage description. Okay, then you have something called as custom URL schemes. Now, custom URL schemes are basically custom URLs that are present inside your application. So let's say an application is using a Firebase database to store its information. Okay. So your Firebase database URL would be included inside the info.plist file. And then we have a lot of case studies or lot of test cases for such Firebase database URLs. Okay, but where will you be able to find them? Is inside CF bundle URL types. Okay, you have to look out for this particular parameter, and using this particular parameter, you would be able to look out for custom URL schemes. Now, let's say there are certain exported or imported documents that are coming onto your application. You can check them using UT exported type declarations and UT imported type declarations. So these are also some of the things you can check out for. And finally, you have app transport security, which is also has you which basically says that whether your application should communicate over a website using HTTP connection or not. Okay, so app transport security is going to define whether your application should communicate to a website using HTTP connection or not. And how are you going to look for this? You can look for this using NS app transport security. Okay, so let's go to the demo practical. And for this demo practical, I'm going to use DVIA, which we were already introduced in the previous video lecture. Okay, inside DVIA, I'm going to go inside its master file wherein all the codes are written, and inside DVIA version 2, you would be able to find something called as DVIA version 2 again. Using inside this folder, you would be looking at something called as info.plist file. Now, this is an info.plist file. All I'm going to do is click on raw so that I get the raw data. And once I get the raw data, I'm going to copy it and paste it on my Sublime. So it looks good. Okay. And we would be able to understand. The first line of info.plist file says the version number. Now, info.plist file is an XML coded file or XML file. Okay, so when it's an XML file, you would be finding this key value pairs always. Okay, so the first line always states which XML version is being used, and you can see that version of XML being used is 1.0. And then you can see the doc type plist public, because this document needs to be publicly available. And then you have the plist version, which says that which version of info.plist is being used. Since it's the first version, we have written it 1.0, the developer has written it 1.0. Okay, now you have something called as dictionary, and inside dictionary you have a lot of different keys. So you have key, and its value is written inside string. Okay, so you have key, you have string, and you have something called as array as well, wherein if there are multiple values to a particular key, you would be able to find those inside array. Okay, oh, all of these info.plist files are not important. Only some of them are important, and that's what I have taken over here. The some of them which are important, I'm just going to have a look at it. And the first one which is important is called a CF bundle short version string, which basically means that once you bundle your iOS application, what version it is running. So it might be running on version 2.0. So that's what the bundled version number is. Bundle version is 2.0. So that's the reason it's called DVIA version 2. Since we are running on the version 2, over here we have mentioned it that it is version 2.0. Okay. Then you have CF bundle URL types, wherein you have CF bundle URL name. So this basically tells you that what is the bundle URL name. So the bundle URL name is com.high altitude hacks.dvia swift version 2. Now each application, whatever you create, should have a unique bundle identifier. Okay, now this bundle identifier helps you to distinguish between two different applications. The same concept has been introduced in Android applications as well, and the same concept is there for iOS applications as well. So this is your bundle URL name. It is a name which should be different for each and every application so that it can be distinguished. The application name and the bundle URL name, both of these things are different. Application name can be same. Bundle URL name should be different so that they have a unique identifier for them. So this is what we call as the bundle URL name. Okay, and below that you can see the bundle URL schemes, which is DVIA or DVIA Swift. Okay, these are some of the application names which can be called up. Okay, you have the CF bundle version, which is 1. LS requires iPhone OS. Obviously, since this is an iOS application, we have just inserted a check that iPhone OS should be installed inside so that this application can be running. Okay, it should not happen that this application should run on Android. So this is an additional check which we have required, and as you can see, the value for this is true, that iPhone operating system should be installed. Okay. Then you have NS transport security, and inside NS transport security, you have something called as NS allows arbitrary loads. Okay, so inside NS transport security, you have NS allows arbitrary loads. This is the exact thing which says or which states that allow loading of HTTP website, or in other terms, allow the application to connect with an HTTP website. Now, HTTP is unsecured, we all know that. And if you want your application to explicitly allow connecting with an HTTP website, you can mention it true over here. But while uploading your application onto the portal of App Store, you have to give the exact reason why you have inserted true over here. Okay. And since it is true, and as a security researcher or as a penetration tester, if you find that NS allow arbitrary loads is true, congratulations, you have found one of the vulnerabilities. Okay. So this is a low level category finding which we always give whenever we pen test. If HTTP connection is allowed, if the value is true, you can submit this as a finding. Okay. Now, as I said that if you want to check out for camera usages or application permissions, what application permission it is using. You can always grep the keyword called as usage description. And in this case, we can see that this particular application DVIA is using camera. So as you can see, NS camera. Okay, NS camera basically means that it's using camera. And this is the key. Inside the key with the inside the string, there's an exact description why this camera is being used. So let's read the description. The description says that to demonstrate the misuse of camera, please grant it permission once. So since this is a demo application or an application made of full of vulnerabilities, it says that I want to demonstrate the misuse of camera, so please give me a permission. But if you're pen testing a real application, or if you're checking out a bug bounty program on an IPA file, okay, so and if you find that there's a camera usage description which has been given, and the application functionality does not have any feature that uses camera, then there's a misconfiguration. And you can definitely report that misconfiguration, stating that unnecessary parameters or unnecessary permissions have been given. Okay, so let's say there's an e-commerce website which does not require audio. Okay, there's no access of audio speaking inside that e-commerce application, but still that e-commerce application is asking you for the permission of your microphone, then that's a misconfiguration. It should not be asking because there's no such feature of inputting of my audio, right? So you can always report that. Okay, moving on, you can see there's something called as UI main storyboard file. Okay, this basically states that which is the main file or which is the first file that needs to be run. And the first file is given using root. The value for this is root. There's something called as UI required device capabilities. This basically states that which device capabilities this application can run on. So, so we know that there are different ARM versions or different versions of a mobile device. Okay, ARM v7, ARM v8, ARM v9. This particular parameter tells you that which devices, the minimum of which devices can run this application. So any operating system or any mobile device with ARM v7 can run this particular application. Then you have something called as UI supported interface orientations, which basically means that which orientations are supported. For iPhone only portrait orientation is supported. For iPad, portrait, upside down, left, right, each and every orientation is allowed. Okay, so this was about info.plist file. There can be hidden strings inside info.plist file. You can sometimes find API keys inside info.plist file. So having a look at inside the info.plist file is very very important, and you should always check out for these type of files. You can grep it, or you can just open it inside Sublime and you can scan it manually. So that's it for this video. Thank you.